It's actually very special for the continent of Africa, a continent that is very impacted by climate change impacts, but a lot of the climate narratives have not come from Africa. It's usually from outside. So it's a very special moment for us as Africans to sit together and talk about the solutions, African-based solutions, so that we don't wait for others from the global north and elsewhere to decide for us what happens in our continent, especially for the fact that we are feeling the impact most. But we also know the solutions, and we want to drive the conversation about the solutions for this global climate emergency.
We are convinced that the world knows enough to act on climate change, and it's high time to put action behind the words. And we are really interested to see more funding for climate adaptation to go to the people who need it most, namely the local communities.
We are at the Africa Climate Summit to represent the voices of different communities from across the continent to really take part in the summit. As you know, there'll be a lot of delegates, policymakers, other climate advocates in the space. So it's a very good space for other climate advocates that are working on preventing, fossil fuel expansion to be present and to really show up and amplify the work that they're doing.
We are here to bring the voices of people who cannot come here because Africa is facing climate change, climate crisis. And we know that Africa is rich. We have, in terms of a lot of resources in Africa, but we also have a lot of poverty in terms of energy in Africa. We know that more than 600 million people in Africa don't have access to energy. So we come here to call our government to invest in renewable energy that are more suitable for people, for our communities. We come here to call our government to stop investing in fossil fuel, to end fossil fuel, and to develop in Africa renewable energy. From this summit, we want to have, in terms of one message for the COP28, who is coming soon. We want Africa to take the leadership in terms of renewable energy in Africa, because that is what we want in Africa for our communities. Yeah. So from here, we want to build a message for COP28, the end of fossil fuel, all fossil fuel in Africa, and more renewable energy in our continent.